In the last decade, PSV has won the Eredivisie 3 times with players like Memphis Depay, Steven Bergwijn, and Irving Lozano on those title-winning squads. The club last lifted a European trophy in 1988, winning the Champions League European Cup at the time versus Benfica. The club recently announced a partnership with Mexican club Chivas and has a history of signing Mexican players. In this rebuild, we will sign and develop young Mexican players, bring back some familiar faces, and develop players on the squad to once again win a Champions League trophy. What's bracking, guys? Really excited to put this rebuild out for you guys. First action will be transfer listing the 80 overall Cody Hack, but I do think with his overall and his potential, he'll end up being kind of making this rebuild go a little bit quicker than I'd like is the main thing. So Madueke, exciting prospect. You saw Tez also with a good status. For Tessin, a right mid/striker showing great potential. He's another player who would be utilized at one point. Will probably be loaned in the first couple seasons. We'll see him improving that aspect, because the thing with this game is you do need to send players out on loan who have good potentials, or else they drop in their potentials. So that's something you have to do if you can't give them basically tons of playing time. So Fofana, another interesting player, and Maxi Romero. Two strikers who Maxi Romero is a player I rate in real life who unfortunately hasn't really come around yet, and he could turn into a good rotational option for us, so that's why we're going to loan him out. And now to the signing of Alexis Vega. Of course, a partnership with Chivas has been announced recently from PSV, so it's wonderful to see that. I think it's good to see more Mexican players going to Europe. In real life, Alexis Vega has been featuring more for the Mexican national team recently. Also had a really good Olympic campaign. I think would have made sense for him to leave to Europe, personally. He did have some injuries recently, and he's starting to recover. So 18 million euros on the more expensive side, but he's going to be featuring for us on that left wing. And obviously there's a history of Mexican wingers on this team, with Irving Lozano being so good for PSV in some of their title winning campaigns. In the end, 54 million euros Hakpo goes to Olympic Lyon, so we will gladly take that money and reinvest it into the squad. I don't think we're going to have too much in the way of youth academy. It's just really difficult unless you're kind of loan glitching and stuff like that to have so many academy players come into the picture. Now Carlos Acevedo, a player who recently has been linked to the club and also was previously linked to Bayer Leverkusen, and he's an interesting young Mexican goalkeeper. 78 overall at age 25, with some room to grow. 6 foot, not incredibly tall, but I really want to bring him in. I've always rated him in real life, someone who watches the Mexican league, watches Mexican football. I know pretty well a lot of these players, and I think he's a player that will serve well as our goalkeeper for the future, and hopefully bring us title. I also love that he's wearing his hairband while he's over here, negotiating his contract. Hey, you gotta love it. Another player we're bringing, Alexander Baugh. I had to go in for him right away. I didn't want to risk the scouting, but he's another player that PSV has been linked, quite a bit with Danish players, has had quite a few in the past, and I think he's a player who will step in for us at that right back spot. As we're going to move Tez to the center back, I think it just makes more sense with his physical attributes. And now you see the squad here: Zahavi at striker for now, Alexis Vega on the left wing, Mario Götze is going to be the cam, Madueke at the right wing, Sangare and Virman in the midfield, Max at the left back spot, Boscagli, Tez, and then Baugh and Acevedo. On the bench for now, Vinicius Bruma, interesting player. I think he could contribute in the first couple seasons for sure. Was once a pretty highly rated wonder kid. As you saw our group there in the Europa League pretty quickly, quite a few players left out on loan. You can see Romero, Fofana. Then pretty hefty transfers, obviously, for Baugh, Acevedo, and Vega. But in the end, Hakpo basically paid for all those transfers, so we will take that. I think it's a good deal of business and fairly realistic for the club, as these players, especially these Mexican players, have a lot of value, and I think Mexican football is really underrated with how much Mexican fans spend on football for merchandise and stuff like that. You bring a lot of money into the club as well. So in the end, a second place finish in the Europa League group, sitting behind Real Sociedad, and halfway through the season, 40 points behind Feyenoord. And the main thing I've noticed with this league, unfortunately, is I just don't like how career mode is so Premier League heavy. So what you're going to see in the next few seasons is that it basically turns into a mess as far as Ajax gets completely depleted because all their players ended up going to Premier League clubs and very big clubs, and they don't have the means in career mode to basically kind of replace those players, because the academy system is just not good enough in this game yet. But in the end, ended up finishing third. Not the best finish in that first season. Obviously, we'd like to be up there winning the title, but some good players developing throughout this first season, and we'll see some players we'll bring in future seasons. But I think the first few seasons are definitely about developing. You can see Goto with 19 goals and 16 assists, 16 goals from Vinicius, Don with 12 goals and 3 assists. The Japanese players is a quality. Sahabi with 11 goals, 2 assists. You can see Vega with a good season, 7 goals, 6 assists. Wiedemann with 3 goals, 11 assists. So pretty good season. Some of the players growing quite a bit on loan. You can see Acevedo up to 81. So going into the second season, Vinicius is still on the club on loan. Is going to be playing at striker, taking over for Sahavi, who's gone down to 73 overall. Still have some good options on the bench. Even Don could be arguably be starting on one of the wings. But from what I've read, he's considered to be a much better option as a off the bench. I do try to do as much research as possible. Did end up selling quite a few players like Van Drommel, Lucassen, and a few others didn't end up getting sold. It's going to just add to our funds for future seasons. You see Ajax in 8th place and completely awful, and because they've lost a lot of their top players. And like I said before, that's a big issue. In the end, in Europa League, we do lose to Arsenal, getting knocked out. So second season, not particularly amazing. Again, kind of the same area dropping in the Europa League. But if we win the title, obviously, things will be a lot different. I didn't really want to showcase as much of the league because it was disappointing to see how it ended. But in the end, you'll see us in the Dutch Cup final as well. And against Feyenoord, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, in recent years they've really been competing, and it's going to be a good draw. But I think Ajax wasn't even really in the last couple of rounds. So I guess the form is completely awful for them. So a big final, trying to secure the Dutch Cup. You can see the lineup here. Vinicius is our 9, Alexis Vega, Madueke on the wings, Sangare, Wiedemann. So pretty similar to what we had in the first season as far as things go. But Alexis Vega with some space is going to have a go. A big save, unfortunately, is saved there. And Alexis Vega cutting in, showcasing his ability to Götze. And fortunately, that gets saved on the near post. What a opportunity created by Vega, and that's exactly why he's on the side. Wiedemann with some space playing the ball to Vinicius. The big man hits the ball in the back of the net. Things didn't obviously work out for some of his loan spells, but has been a solid 9 for us so far in this season, and surely a pretty big goal as looks like he's going to be leading us to a Dutch Cup victory. But what's a goal now for a second one from him? I don't think we're going to be able to really bring him in on a permanent deal, but he's a player who at least contributed in the first couple of seasons. You always have players like that who come in on loan and contribute in ways that maybe they won't be able to get us to the next level as far as winning Champions League goes, but he's going to be able to help us in the league campaign. But no, Feyenoord really not going to step back here as they get just kind of a lucky few bounces. When I watch the player who's been criticized for being just not looking like a football player the way he plays the game, is again through on goal, and now he has a chance to make things 2-2 when he does. So 57th minutes could possibly bottle this 2-0 lead, and we're going to have to make some changes. You're going to see Alexis Vega can play as a striker, and that's a spot he's played before. Second striker, I think he's probably best in that role. So we're going to bring Don on, and he's going to now Bruma's gonna be played through into some space. Another player who maybe hasn't had his career turn out the way he's expected to, but he's still a solid player at a good level. He comes off the bench, uses his pace, finishes opportunity to make things 3-2 in the 79th minute, and that's going to be a moment you'll remember for the club. He's another player who's not going to really elevate us to that next level in the Champions League, but he will be able to help us in this immediate future, as you can see right here. And a 3-3 in the 86th minute it is now. Could this go to penalties? The big man just finds a way to get to in those good spots. Now Bruma here on the wing, cutting the ball back. And these two super subs combining, that's really the best rules for these two guys, as he's going to run over, celebrates, and I love the cinematic celebration. It's something I've always enjoyed in this game. As Acevedo is hype as well, our number 1, and I certainly expect to see us winning some more titles in the future. and certainly look to be on the route to winning the league as well. So celebrating a big moment here, walking over, lifting the trophy, is Tez, the youngster, been given the captain's armband as a youngster. Yeah. He's been a wonderful player for us as he's moved to that center back spot, and he certainly is a guy who should be with us as we look to get to the next level, being a Champions League level team. So looks like we all have it secure. Again, we won the league fairly easily because Ajax just was absolutely terrible, really did not challenge us, and unfortunately for the next few seasons, I'm not going to be featuring the league as much as because yeah, they're not very good. Just unfortunately the way this game works is that a lot of these good players in these other leagues get poached by the big clubs, and the game just does not supplement those players on these other teams, and they don't use their money, I guess. I don't know what it is. But 26 goals, 2 assists for Vinicius Götze, 20 goals, 9 assists, 13 goals for Maxi Romero, who had a decent season playing more at the bench. Zinchenko actually had a good season. He was another player who was actually on the previous title-winning squad. Some other players looking pretty solid. Some of the guys growing on loan. Zahavi, it looks like, retiring in the season. Free Palestine. But moving on to some players we bring on in Season 3. Alexander Zinchenko. A player who didn't have a stint with the side, and he's a guy who's really been kind of seen as a rotation option, I feel like, a lot of times. And for us to get to the next level, we need a left back like him, and could be considered a little bit unrealistic, but obviously with us winning the league again, winning the cup, and showcasing the idea of pushing the next level in Europe is something I think could be appealing, and of course, him being a former player is appealing as well. So Philip Max will be leaving, unfortunately. We're going to be loaning a couple other players out. Vertessen is going to be leaving on loan. Did end up re-signing him. Bruma, you can see as well. Going to put him on the transfer list. He's had a really nice goal, obviously, in the end. But again, like I said before, I feel like at this point, he's kind of outgrown things. But in this third season, Max Romero will actually be our starting striker. At 75, I think he's pretty respectable. We don't have an amazing amount of funds. So other than that, you can see, Zinchenko stepping at the left back, some good growth. Most of the team is, in the 80s other than Romero. Now in Champions League, we're going to have a group with Chelsea, Monaco, as well as the Hungarian side. And moving on halfway through the season, it is again in the league pretty dominant. Ajax 10 points below us. And at this point, usually is when you kind of see that, I don't know what it is, but the second half of the season, just a lot of teams, kind of behind really kind of taper off, and that's what you end up seeing here. But actually winning 2-0 against Bayern Munich in this matchup, this round of 16 matchup, very interesting to see. So could be a good run for us, it looks like, unless Bayern Munich brings it back. So actually a big victory here in the Champions League in Season 3. But now we come up against Liverpool. This does a very good squad, even signing Alexis Vega. 3-1 victory. Of course, have Luis Diaz and Mane, Salah, just really Jota. Well, too good for us at the moment, and it makes sense. Going in the second leg against Liverpool could possibly have a comeback underway, but in the end, they do win 5-2, and we bring home another league title, which is exciting. But Ajax is just terrible, which does not make things fun. They're still okay, but they're not as good as they really should be. Yeah. We'll see some of our key players growing quite a bit. Alexis Vega with a 17-goal season. Maxi Romero with 16 goals, a huge season from him. 11 goals, 2 assists from Vertessen, who actually we did end up bringing back on from his loan stint. 10 goals from Götze and Madueke. Zinchenko did actually play quite a bit. Weerman with 6 goals and 11 assists. Acevedo up to an 85 overall. I think we're getting to the point where we certainly could say we're close to good enough to be competing in Europe. But of course, now you see the thumbnail. We're going to bring back the now 30-year-old Memphis to his home country, bring him back, and help us try to bring us to European glory. And 73 million euros, obviously, that's a bit too much, I feel like, that we had to pay, but to try to get us to the next level, it completely makes sense to me. So, and we'll see another former player, Irving Lozano, is now a free agent. Things didn't really work out with him at Napoli in the way that really people would have liked, but he can come back home. He's not necessarily gonna be a starter, is the thing, but he gives us tons of depth for both the league and the Champions League campaign. So he kind of knows that, and he's going to be kind of supplementing. Could end up being, if Madueke does end up leaving, he could be an option, but you can see Depay here as playing as kind of a false 9. Götze, Veerman, Sangare in the midfield. Götze has got up to an 86 overall. Make sure you have Maxi Romero as our second option, and he's still looking pretty good at 78 overall. So in the Champions League, we got Bayern Munich, who we did beat in the round of 6 as Napoli, Galatasaray, so should be an interesting Champions League campaign, seeing how we fare there. We've shown to do fairly well. Actually, in the league, it seems a bit more competitive, as now we have to focus, it's interesting trying to balance both the league and the Champions League competitions as well as cup competitions, so that's something that can be interesting trying to balance. But we do have a better squad now. As you can see, we actually ended up again winning the group over Bayern Munich after beating them in Champions League the previous season. Napoli, Galatasaray ending in 3rd and 4th respectively. Again, Arsenal though, they did knock us out of a Europa League earlier on, and no, Veerman is not going to help us, and not one bit, as they did win the first leg 4-1, and now moving on to the second leg 1-1, and unfortunately knocked out again. But in the Dutch Cup, looks like we're probably going to bring on another final home. And yeah, just going here, just want to showcase another trophy won. Depay showcasing his incredible knack for goal. Going to be a pretty simple victory, as he's going to take things over. And our squad is clearly too good for the league. There's not too much point in actually showcasing it all that much. Kind of a cute little celebration there as well, as we'll move on. And probably be some more goals on the way. Alexis Vega running at the defense. Terrible defending. Memphis with the turn. Too saucy. The quick, precise dribbling. He's going to make things 2-0 in the 30th minute. And yeah, that's going to be an easy victory. Another title coming home, and that's something you love to see. I really like some of the players we brought. Obviously, the Ukrainian Zinchenko at this point is in a tough spot, for his personal feelings. I'm sure what's going on in his homeland at the moment. We brought back home some players, and you'll see some of the guys there celebrating. Lozano as well, who as eventually we did come back in the league, also winning the league there, 3rd season, so pretty dominant now. You can see quite a Memphis, even though he only played 24 matches, 16 goals. So he easily would have ran away with things. I did rotate quite a bit to try to have them as fresh as possible for Champions League. 10 assists for Götze in 31 matches as well. So pretty good league campaign that was. 23 goals, 8 assists for Depay. Götze with 18 goals, 14 assists. Alexis Vega with 16 goals and 8 assists for Tessen with 15 goals and 2 assists. Was very good off the bench, and I think we'll end up seeing probably might be the time to get rid of Madueke to let Tessen have an opportunity. So in this final season, we're really going to target some bigger names here. Virgil van Dijk, obviously 40. Big offer is going to have to be, and paid quite a bit for him, but if you want to win the Champions League, you have to obviously go after some pretty high rated players who may be a bit unrealistic. In the end, that is our goal, to win the Champions League, and we got to find our way to make that happen. So going to end up selling Timo Baumgartel, who really was just a backup option for us. Marl Jr., who is a player I actually like in real life, but for the sake of this career moment, kind of had to get away from him. Now Stefan de Vrij is going to come in, 26 million euros. Doesn't matter. We need him for the sake of his rating. He's going to be declining, but just having the rating is kind of a big deal for Sims and all that. So that's the reason we brought him as well. So pretty improved center back combination. Now, as we were saying, Madueke, probably time to get rid of him. And Dortmund comes in, activating a 131 million euro release clause for him. So I think it makes sense, honestly, when you think about an English player, bring in some shirt sales. And obviously, if they were to ever sell, he was ever to go back to England, he would command a pretty big price as well. So with that, we need some more depth. So I said, okay, we're going to bring back another player who was on the previous title-winning squad. Bergwijn is going to be viewed as that was really fast. The way I put that in fast forward, is going to be seen as another backup option here. He could start it right away, but I do like Tessen. and he's been a young player who's developed throughout this squad, and I really like the idea of having him start and using kind of Doan, Lozano, Bergwijn. First, they're all the options off the bench, clearly, because, I mean, Lozano can play a bit as a striker and all that. So, in the group, Madrid, Lazio, Dynamo Kiev. Actually, much closer in the Eredivisie. I think I butchered it. Some of these European pronunciations are very difficult for me, so I literally was like 5 minutes listening how to try to pronounce it correctly, and I was like, God, I just fucked it up right now. But and seconds, we ended up finishing behind Real Madrid, and round of 16 playing against a Inter squad, which is pretty good in career mode for the most part. They usually tend to make some pretty good transfers, and you can see Baugh at the right back is at the 85. Some of these players are looking pretty good. Van Dijk up to the 86, and De Vrij, he ended up going down quite a bit in his overall. So Tess is back to the kind of is starting there next to Van Dijk. Pretty good partnership they have, I would say. And in the end, we do go through versus Inter Milan on 3-1 aggregate. Big goals from Götze and Alexis Vega. Nice to see the way they've developed. As we'll go into a match versus Manchester City, it's going to be a tough one. The first leg was not to our liking, and we'll end up playing the second leg as it's pretty close though. However, in the league against Ajax, so we said, okay, we want to try to secure the league, at least have one game against Ajax featured. Would be nice to see. And a away ball from Vertessen. Depay gets his chip saved. Alexis Vega is there on the back post to finish it, and that is a beautiful play there to make things 1-0. Sorry for simming so quickly to the Manchester City draw. I think it was a 3-1 result for them. Alexis Vega getting nice and close to the camera, showcasing his beautiful new scanned face for everyone to see. Testing again, running the D, playing a good ball in behind to Memphis, who could look for the sweat across, but in the end he finishes that far post to help put this one away. It looks like could possibly a comeback on the horizon from Ajax. We'll see. They just again don't really have the same firepower that they did before. In the end, it actually ended up being 3-2. They did make a bit of a comeback, but that pretty much secures the league for us, and that is a big result there. So now moving on to the big Champions League fixture against Manchester City. Obviously, they have a stacked squad. City 2-1. It was 2-1 on aggregate. Memphis has played in behind, has a chance 1v1 with the goalkeeper, and he hits that off the post. A big chance to try to make things level. Alexis Vega now, unfortunately, goes well over the bar. Could have maybe sweated that across to Vertessen. So big chances left begging, and you'll see Phil Foden makes this completely pay. Tez unfortunately cannot get to that one. Win the ball from Foden. 3-1, and now we've certainly got some work to do here against what is a very strong Manchester City side. Playing a bit more youngsters for the most part, as we actually will say, okay, we got to go with a two-striker look. The pie up top with Vega, it's going to bring on Bergwijn, Lozano, Doan, as we just kind of need that pace. That pace really is kind of a big deal, but sliders do help it not be as powerful, but it still matters in career mode, obviously. So some guys who obviously have been big for the club. Bergwijn, beautiful 1-2, and look at that, Bergwijn coming back. Nice to see him scoring against an English side, obviously. Played a bit against them recently, coming back from Spurs. But Bergwijn playing a ball over the top now to Memphis. Perfectly weighted ball. Memphis has to fight a defender off the ball. I think it's Ruben Diaz, and he's going to hit that near post and finish it to level things up on aggregate. And what a comeback so far. That was a 30th minute substitution. We knew we needed goals right away, and that's certainly what they're providing here now as we get another beautiful celebration there. Lozano with some space on the wing. Memphis going to look for Doan. One more pass. Alexis Vega is going to hit this off the post. Could that be a costly miss from Alexis Vega, the young Mexican striker / winger, asked to play a bit more of as a number 9 in this instance. Unfortunately, cannot finish the opportunity, but now Lozano into some space. The Mexican maybe is looking for his fellow compatriot, but it's Bergwijn. Unfortunately, it gets block there, excuse me, and now Sangare winning the ball forward. Memphis into some space, and he is going to put that in the back of the net to make these 4-3. 3-1, the game. 4-3 is the aggregate, excuse me, my mind was blanked a little bit, but we've had some wonderful growth from all these players, and that's really why I've kind of enjoyed, the fact that we didn't do a complete over rebuild. I just don't like when you change the squad entirely, and I think that's one thing I've liked so far. We brought back some interesting players. We've kept some players as well. Some terrible defending, but a huge save from Alexis Vega to make things stay in our favor on aggregate. The 84th minute, now 85th minute, Sangare wins the ball. Alexis Vega now in some space, going to play a quick 1-2. He's going to combine with Memphis. A great ball played over the top as Stones just unfortunately looks like he was, or I think it was Diaz, one of them two, was a second late. And Vega's going to put that in near post. He's going to celebrate the young Mexican winger / striker with a huge moment coming over from Chivas. Looked like he was a player who unfortunately was going to get lost in the Mexican league his entire career. Has made this big move to the Dutch side and is going to help them move on in the Champions League. And what was a huge moment for him, obviously. 1v1, missed a chance earlier on, and now he has redemption to put us through in the end. Beautiful, man. A beautiful finish that was. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this rebuild so far. If you're still watching, hit that like button. I appreciate all the love and support. We get another match against Ajax, which is nice to see. It's probably not going to be as very competitive. I mean, they've lost so many players, unfortunately. They still have a few here and there, but at least they're on the rise again for the sake of this career mode. But I mean, we're approaching the last season, so that's what's unfortunate about that. Now Götze is going to play the ball here in some space. Alexis Vega on the wing. He's going to have the run of Memphis. He's going to try to cut the ball back, and Götze is going to hit that in the far post. A great finish from him here in this final. So we've obviously won quite a bit in the league. It just has to be the Europa League now, showcasing the dominance. I really am happy to see this, coming back, this comeback of Götze as well. I mean, he's 86 overall now, getting closer to some expectations he had before. Obviously, interesting career he's has revealed that he had myopathy, which is kind of an issue with muscles, and now he's getting a second goal here in a final to help lead his side to potential victory. So he's obviously was just such a big talent. And I think his career isn't over yet, and I hope in real life also he can just really turn things around and have a quality just rest of his career. Now Memphis played through here on the wing, going to finish this near post. 3-0, 40th minutes. A little too easy it is now, and it looks like we have run away with another trophy, and it could be it could be a treble. That would be awesome to see, and a great way to cap off this rebuild. But finish near post, you'll see Memphis being the one to lift the trophy. Certainly deserving of it, as he's really helped us elevate to the next level. And of course, a few other guys who came in, like Van Dijk. Pretty big deal to bring a player of his caliber. Now into the semifinals of the Champions League, getting a better draw in the end against Monaco, and we'll say, hey, we'll take this as we sim the first leg 1-1, and we'll sim the next leg. See if we end up losing it. I think we'll have to go another season, but in the end, 3-2 on aggregate. Memphis with a big goal, but Veerman unfortunately did pick up he picked up another injury again in the league. 80 points. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the league was more competitive, but we certainly have turned things. However, transitioning to the Champions League final, unfortunately, without Veerman, we're going to be seeing Doan stepping in, who's 84 overall. I mean, most of the team is kind of in the mid to upper 80s, and I feel like that's a good enough side to really win a Champions League, and I think it's a good point to try to wrap this career mode / rebuild up, and wrap this rebuild up for you guys. But obviously, Spurs has a pretty competitive side. Most Premier League clubs is absolutely cash out and bring a lot of good players. It's really not too different as well with the Spurs side, but we ourselves have put together a good squad also, and we'll see how we fare. But interesting midfield that we've never had to play before, with both Don and Götze in the midfield, and then going to be asking Sangare to kind of sit back and protect the defense. Luis Diaz is on the team. Guedes, Bentancur, Pedri even signed. It's just a little bit unrealistic, some of the transfers that do happen, in my opinion, but it's career mode. I mean, I just still think it can transfer logic. It certainly needs to change, but the lineup here, you can see, and as well as the substitutes, I mean, on the bench, we just have much quality. Vega, Depay, Vertessen, Götze, Sangare, then Zinchenko, Tess, Van Dijk, Baugh, Acevedo. In this potential Champions League winning side, bring some glory back to the Dutch club. But Memphis walking up to the ball, ready to kick this match off and bring some glory back to a club that, you know, helped him elevate to different spots in Europe, such as Lyon and Barcelona. But now Don playing the ball around here to Alexis Vega. He's back out on this wing. May have a cross opportunity. Going to play the ball back into Memphis. Götze going to look for a ball back to Depay. And he's unfortunately going to hit that near post right at the keeper. But a really good opportunity now. Alexis Vega cutting the ball back to Memphis. He's going to have a go for Tessen to Götze. Unfortunately, that's a huge block and save. It looked like it was kind of a dual block and save from a defender and a goalkeeper. In the end, Pedri is going to put his side up 1-0 in the 27th minute, making us pay for those missed opportunities. So Pedri strangely joining Spurs. I couldn't see it, but either way, you know, that's how it is in career mode for you. But again, we're gonna have to bring on those trusty subs. And who is it going to be? Bergwijn, Don, Lozano, which is actually just Bergwijn, Lozano this time. And Bergwijn cutting the ball back to Memphis. Unfortunately, cannot get a huge assist against his former club. Memphis hits that wide. That was a very big missed opportunity. Now Alexis Vega playing the ball over top to Memphis is able to strengthen off his defender and put it into the back of the net to make things level in the 75th minute. So what a huge pass and finish there. Memphis, of course, missed the earlier opportunity, but now makes things a bit better here with that late goal. But now a big win of the ball. Zinchenko, unfortunately, the ball magnetizes right away. Sangare wins the ball here. Quick counter opportunity, looks like. Vega fighting for the ball in the end. Now Lozano into some space, gonna play a 1-2. Memphis, the ball wasn't given back to him as the ball actually goes back to Vega, who's gonna play the ball to Memphis perfectly, and that is a huge goal for Memphis. 88th minute, cinematic celebration going off, and that is a huge goal again. Memphis has really been the one to carry us throughout this European campaign. And Acevedo is going to be celebrating as well. The Mexican goalkeeper has come up big in some situations, and that is just what you love to see. So with that, you'll see the celebrations going off. And I thought this was a really fun rebuild. I think we had some good storylines, obviously, bringing back some former players, developing some players, obviously, the redemption, Mario Götze's career, quite a few Mexican players on the squad, obviously, the connection, bring a couple players home like Memphis, Van Dijk as well, to help us lead us to European glory. With that, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this career mode, this rebuild, get it in your minds. Hit that like button if you haven't. I love you. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll be signing out now. Please make sure you check out other rebuilds in the playlist. I'll be putting this on. If you haven't, I'll be signing out now, and I'll catch you guys later.